Hello everybody and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we're doing a flight from Salt Lake City to Denver International Airport using the Airbus A320 Neo. This is a different style of Neo. This one actually has a few different sound features as well as a tablet. So we're going to be using this version of the A320 Neo for this flight. Using the Frontier liveries. I'm very excited to be able to get out here today and use it. And get things started. Before we get going into the cockpit, a couple of things I want to make mention is that today I'm using the Thrustmaster quadrant as well as the Thrustmaster side stick from the Airbus edition for Thrustmaster, as well as the pedals. I do have a cam linked up, so a bit later on when we get taxiing and get the engine started, you'll be able to see them live. Well, obviously it won't be live, but you'll be able to see a live feed of them being used. So that's going to be very exciting. Nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump into the cockpit and get things started. Alright, we are here in the cockpit. It is a cold and dark state at the moment with the Airbus A320. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and get some live tour. I'm going to jump up here to the top and turn on the bats 1 and 2. And since we do have external power available, we're going to activate external power. Things are going to start to turn up. It's going to be a little bit loud, but that's just the standard. That's just standard, really, in an Airbus A320. Cabin crew supplies will go ahead and turn on. ADAS, we're going to go ahead and select to the nav positions. Come up here and we're going to turn on wing lights. Not wing lights. Where are they? Nav and logo lights set to the on position. Table signs will go ahead and activate as well. Measure lights we're going to go ahead and turn on as well and set them to their armed position. We're going to come down to the bottom and we're going to turn on lock our cockpit door and get that selected and set, which is good to go. Things are going to start to come alive here. We'll go ahead. Oh dear, we're zooming in. We'll get our lights set up here as well. Get them ready to go. Get some life to her. We are using the Pilot to ATC software, so we're going to be talking to ATC as we begin as we start flying today. So we'll go ahead and set that up in the moment as well. We've got our displays all configured here too. All looking pretty damn good. Bring the brightness up on our MacDo, and we'll go ahead and file our flight plan in just a moment's time. So we'll go ahead and go to our flight plan. Fuel truck is here too, which is good. We'll go ahead and get our fuel situated. Block fuel is going to be 7.1 today, so we'll go ahead and get that. That is going to be closer to what we're going to get. 7.1. Pretty good. Payload as well. I mean, we'll keep it at about 34. Should be about what is the payload that they want us at the moment anyway? It's going to be about 18.1 today. We'll go ahead and select 18.1. Bring that down here. 18.9. I think it's going to be about the closest we are going to get at. 18.3. 18.3 is going to do it for today. Put that to the MacDo. We'll go to the inner page. We get our cost index. Our cost index for today's flight is going to be 60. We'll go ahead and punch in number 60 into the cost index. Pop that into there. Our cruise flight is going to be flight level 300. We're going to go ahead and import that into the flight plan 300. We'll go and get some ADAS information here as well from Pilot to ATC. Configure that to the simulator and get that hooked up.
Salt Lake City International Information.
There we
Golf.
go.
854 Zulu, winds are 129er at 10 knots. Visibility 10 miles.
Alright. While that's happening,
Skies broken. Temperature 14.
we'll get our
Dew point
QNH.
-2. Current altimeter is 3003.
3003.
Arriving and departing runway 16 right,
Got
16
that
left.
set. We're departing today at the runway
Salt Lake City International
34 right, so we're going to go
Golf.
ahead and input that
854 Zulu,
into
winds are
our flight
129er
plan
at
here.
10
We can go
16
ahead
right,
and
16
catering truck, I
left.
believe, is all completed and done. External power, we can go
Salt
ahead and
Lake
turn off
City
in a moment.
International
We'll go and set up
Information
the
Golf.
APU.
854
Wait,
Zulu,
3
winds
seconds.
are 129er
start
at
button.
10 knots.
We'll turn that on.
Visibility
We'll get
10
some packs
miles.
going as well.
Skies
Been nice and a
broken.
bit warm.
Temperature 14. Dew point
Right, we can go
-2.
and switch over to the clearance delivery.
Current
We don't
altimeter
need to
is
hear this guy anymore. I can't hear myself think much anymore with him going on. We do have a cup, which can reappear and appear. I was playing around with that in a live stream earlier, and it's pretty funny. Nonetheless, I think everything else is pretty much good to go. We're going to go ahead and go through the inlet page number 2. We've got a zero fuel weight as well as a block fuel, which is going to be 49.4, and our block fuel is going to be 7.1. We'll go ahead and import that. We'll go over to our performance page. We'll get our B1 speeds, which is going to be 123. VR is going to be 124, and B2 speeds of 128. Flaps, we're going to be flaps 2 today. Down, go 0.2. Go with that. Flex temperature is going to be of 45. Go ahead and import that bad boy into there. We'll go ahead and go back to our inlet page. I'm going to go ahead and get our IRS. Make sure our IRS is aligned. We're going to align our IRS. Confirm alignment. Get that aligned. Alright, I believe our IRS is aligned up at the top here, which is perfect. Left and right columns are looking good. Everything else is fine. I'm not using the PAX software in today's episode. I've been running into some issues with that and it's updating, so I'm going to wait till that's updated before we implement that back into the next episode of Flight Sim. So expect to see that in next episode. We'll have the PAX working, hopefully. We're going to crank up the PFDs a little bit more. That's looking pretty damn good there. And get our clearance delivery. Frontier Flight 1835, ready to copy IFR clearance. Frontier Flight 1835, ready to copy IFR clearance.
Frontier Flight 1835 is cleared to Kilo Delta Echo November as filed. Expect departure runway 34 right.
34 right, perfect. That is believed just out to our right. 8,000 feet.
Higher clearances 2 minutes after departure. Departure on 120.9er.
Got a squawk code.
Squawk 6364.
Frontier Flight 1835 is cleared to Kilo Delta Echo November as filed. Climb and maintain 8,000 feet.
I was going to say, I hope that inputted that, which it did perfect.
Departure on 120.9er.
So we're going to be departing out of, I believe, runway 134 right, which is actually going to be the runway just over there.
Read back correct. Altimeter
yes, it is. And the runway just behind us here.
Ground on 121.9.
Meaning we're going to have to do a bit of a random turn, which probably be better going runway 16 left.
Ground on
and steering out in that direction. But nonetheless, we can do that at some given point. And alignment is about 1 minute out, which is fine. Parking brake supply APU is available, so we can go ahead and disconnect from a ground power unit at the moment, turn that off, and get our APU fired up. We can say goodbye to you and switch over to APU. We can listen to that flare up, which I'll go ahead and switch to now. Alright, that is firing up now with the APU. We can go ahead and get ourselves going here. Fuel-wise is good, we got that set up. APU is available, which is good. So that's all powered up, ready to rock and roll. We're going to turn on our APU bleed here. And from here, we're going to go ahead and turn off our pumps as well. Get that all fired up. We're going to turn on our beacon light as well. Let's go over the flight plan. Flight directors are coming online to get them turned on. We're going to go ahead and show you the flight plan for today's flight. So like from runway 34 right, we're going to be following it down to Nonti, I think. Nonti to MTU to Becky to OAP to Liberts, Taurus, the Bike, to Biv, to Bissell, to Longy, top of the centre, Flannel, Dorks, Humont, down to Arky, to Barra, to Himon, USR, to Teller, and then all the way into runway 34 right, 34 left, arrival into Denver. Alrighty, as you can see, we have a full setup here. We have the throttle quadrant to the right, we have our rudder pedals to the middle here, and the amazing Thrustmaster side stick onto the left. We're going to go ahead and parking brakes are released now. We're going to have our takeoff beacon lights are going to be selected. We don't need our runways. We don't need the landing lights on at the moment. Now we're going to turn on our overhead panel a bit more there. Get that set up. We're going to go ahead and request pushback here. Get the pushback truck going and get that cracking. I think I gotta push it down. There we go. Alright, pushback is commencing. We're gonna go ahead and begin our pushback here. We have to use the little pedals on the left and right hand sides, which are fine. I can do that. We're gonna go ahead and fire up engines 1. We're gonna go over here and put a no ignition start over ignition. I'm gonna fire up number 1 and let's take a look. The engine 1 is stabilizing now, which is available. We're going to go ahead and flick on engine 2. I believe the parking brakes are still applied. That's why we're moving a lot slower. God damn it. The parking brakes are now fully released, so we can go ahead and taxi back a lot smoother than what we were actually doing. We're going to just make sure that we are taxiing out a bit nicely here. We need to definitely steer more to the right, so I'm going to go ahead and switch that on. There we go. And we'll take a listen to engine number 2. That's going to do us nicely there. We'll go ahead and disconnect. Taxi, we'll go ahead and put our parking brakes on. We're going to go ahead and do a flight control check. We're going to go over to the flight control screen. Auto brakes, we're going to set to max. Cabin cruise, we're going to check. Those are lights we're going to turn on. Spoilers, we're going to go ahead and arm as well. Flaps, we're going to go ahead and set to flaps 1. From here on out, we're going to turn off the... I don't think we've got dome lights even on anyway, which is good. We can go ahead and dim some of these lights here a little bit. They're a little bit bright. Bring them down a bit. Alright, we're going to go ahead and do a flight control flight control check. Flaps. A bit of this. Oh, because we're going to flaps 2, right? Lol. Flaps 2. There we go. Flight control check. We're clear. Alright, I'm going to go full left, brother. Neutral. Full right, brother. Neutral. Pitch full left. Neutral. Pitch full right. Neutral. Pitch down. Neutral. Pitch up. Neutral. Oh, we're in a good position there. Taxi lights are on. I'm going to turn off the runway, turn off lights. I'm going to come on, and our wing lights are on. Taxi lights are set on as well. We're going to be good to go. We're good to taxi. We're going to go ahead and get our pitch as well. Set that. I believe we're setting that to down 0.2, which we've got that set. Right, other than that, we're good to start firing up. We're going to release the parking brakes, and we're going to set our throttle up a little bit here and begin our roll.
Tower on 118.3 Frontier.
Alright, we're starting to make our way to the runway now. We're going to go ahead and set up our transponder. Set that to activate. That is all set up, ready to go. We're going to go ahead as well as turn on our weather transponders as well and set up all of that good stuff. We're good to go. Runway lights, we're going to turn on. Landing lights, we're going to turn on, and taxi and takeoff lights, we're going to set to on. Strobe lights are going to come on as well. We're going to go ahead and hold position here of the runway and get our clearance for takeoff. We're going to put our chrome on as well. Our chrono is going to be locked on and set. Frontier Flight 1835, holding short departure.
Frontier Flight 1835, winds are 129er at 8 knots, altimeter 3002, cleared for takeoff. Runway 34 right, maintain runway heading until above 5,200 feet, then turn right heading 159er to intercept course.
Alright, we're clear.
For takeoff.
Gonna hop onto the runway here.
Right, maintain runway heading until above 5,200 feet, then right to 159er. Frontier Flight 1835.
We're clear for takeoff. We're gonna go ahead and get ourselves on the runway. On the center line. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves up to N1 to about 50%. And we'll go up to flat temperature. Pitch down at about 15 degrees. And we're going to get ourselves rolling here. I'm going to try and stay in that center line. 80 knots. Airspeeds are alive at 80 knots. Cross check. Continuing. 100 knots. We're at our V1 speeds, V1. We can go ahead and rotate. Landing gear is up automatically. We're going to maintain our current heading. Keep our flex up here. We'll go flaps up 1. We're going to go ahead and begin a slight turn here just to get ourselves back on course. We're going to retract our spoilers, sorry. We can go ahead and retract our nose wheel lights, runway turn off lights, and wing lights can come off.
Frontier Flight 1835,
I'm going to begin our turn here.
And maintain 15,000
Flaps
feet.
up
Contact
all the
Salt
way.
Lake City departure on 120.9er.
And we'll go back to level climb.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet departure on 120.9er Frontier Flight 1835.
We are back. I'm not too sure what was happening, but things started to go really weird then. It's only 250 knots. We're past 10,000 feet. We're going to turn off our landing lights. And all of that is good. Everything else is set as it should be. I'm not too sure why it was doing that. It really shouldn't have, but it's been very retarded. But nonetheless, we are back in the air still flying as we should be, and back on course.
35. Good evening. Radar contact.
We're at 20,000 feet. We're going to go ahead and turn our QNH off to standard. And from there, it should be pretty much good to go. Get back. We got requested to go up to flight level 270.
Flight 1835 and flight level 210.
I'm going to go up to flight level 270 now.
Radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 270. Climb and maintain flight level 270 Frontier Flight 1835.
Alright, we've been given permission to go up to flight level 270, so I'm going to go ahead and head up to 270. It's a absolute cracker of a sunset outside. It is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go ahead and give you some shots of the outside as we're going up to 270. We are now making our way up to flight level 330, which is our assigned cruising altitude on the way from Salt Lake City to Denver. We are making our way up. It is such a beautiful sunset though. Absolutely beautiful. But yeah, we're making our way up to 330 now. Looking pretty good at the moment. We're still on our way through to Troy's now, which is the next leg of our journey. About 53 nautical miles, it's saying. We're going to go ahead and update our performance. Go into performance here. I'm going to go across and update our arrival information from Denver International Airport. So I'm going to key up that information right now. Get that input. Charlie Delta Echo November. So far, QNH are looking the same. Winds are still 232 at 9 knots with altimeter 30.11. Temperatures are still 7 degrees, and our transitional altitude is still going to be 18,000 feet. So if anything, nothing has changed with those at the moment. It's still going to be the same, which is good. So we're going to continue on our flights on through the skies here. making our way up to flight level 330, all the way to Denver International. To Denver now. We're beginning a slight turn towards Troy as we begin our way out of bike, actually, rather, as we begin our way in. It's starting to look quite interesting with the color combination. Sun's starting to go down and starting to get quite dark as we make our way in towards Denver. It is, if anything, a stunning sunset, as you can see. It just looks absolutely beautiful. If we go right here and have a look, it's just all that nice red color in combination. It's just such a beautiful scenery. Just so gorgeous as we go away, as we start to navigate our way in. Other than that, everything is looking pretty good. We're sitting at 280 kilometers, 280 knots, and we're beginning our way in through to Denver now. So things are starting to take shape. If anything, we'll begin our descent very soon. We're approximately about 5 minutes out to our top of descent. And approximately 41.7 nautical miles, and all is looking pretty well. Everything is holding up pretty well. Engines N1s and N2s are sitting at about 76.8. Fuel about 5.7 remaining in fuel. So we've got about an hour and 50 minutes remaining in total on flight time, which is more than enough to get us to Denver. So we're looking pretty good there. Go ahead and clear that notification.
Frontier Flight 1835, expect the ILS approach to runway 34 left with the tail retransition at Denver International. Contact Denver Center on 128.65. Have a good one. Expect the ILS approach
we're expecting the ILS runway 234 left through the tail transition, so we're going to be going ahead and we're getting vectors in very soon. We're going to go ahead and turn on our constraints here just so that they are pre-programmed, ready to go, and bring our
Center Frontier Flight 1835 and flight level
bring our HUD down to about 20 nautical miles.
Frontier Flight 1835, good evening.
About 40 actually.
Radar contact.
We're going to continue and resume our current heading at the moment as we begin our way in towards Denver. We're beginning that final turn very soon. This is a very long session, a recording session. I've actually had to order in my Indian. Otherwise, I wouldn't have actually have had dinner tonight. So that's what happens when you're doing a flight like this. You got to actually order your dinner in. So I got butter chicken. I got the rice cooking at the moment, funny enough, and we're actually got to come in and get ready for our arrival into Denver. All in all, it's all looking pretty good. If anything, we're looking fantastic. So we're going to continue on with our heading. Not much else needs to be adjusted up here really. I'm going to dim some of the lights here to make it a bit easier for us when we come into landing. We're going to dim a lot of the lights, if anything. Bring these down. Bring these down quite a bit as well. We want to try and make it not too bright for us, but just enough lighting so that we can operate safely. Turn on some of them instead. Turn on some of the panel lighting just so that we get a bit of visibility. That looks pretty cool like that. I'm happy with that at the moment as we progress through. We're getting towards Bright soon. When we hit to Bright, we're going to be getting our descent, final descent, which is just before Bright. That's where we're beginning our descent down to 31,000 feet, and then from there we transition down all the way down to 15,000 feet at Himon. Well, as we call it, Hi Mum. Hi Mom. Hi Mom is our next waypoint. Jokes. Hi Mom. Such a great waypoint that is. Anyway, we're going to continue on. We're going to begin our descent very shortly, in fact. So we're going to go ahead and just pre-program that ready to go. We'll get to bright. That's when our descent will come through. So we're going to wait for air traffic control, and then we'll begin our descent then. We're still making our way down and descending into Denver at this time, still going through the clouds. The airport is basically just in front of us here. As you can see, there is the airport right in front. We do have visual of the airport. We're going to be continuing our way down here. We're doing an ILS approach so that the aircraft will monitor the speeds for us as we continue to descend down and reduce speed as we're going to approach phase very soon. We're still too fast to activate any flaps, but as we begin our descent further and continue to go down to lower altitudes, that's when we'll go ahead and retract some flaps and extend some flaps and get into our landing phase. But we do have visual of the airport just out to our left. There it is out there. Very cool indeed. But yes, definitely a nice flying, nice nighttime flight for sure. Alrighty, we're still continuing our way into Denver. As you can see, we are pretty much on the final approach here now, basically. We're making our final way through as we continue to follow our way into Denver, sorry. Which you can clearly see it's just out to our left here. We're waiting to get further clearances to descend down further from air traffic control. At the moment, we're maintaining 11,000 feet. Which very soon we'll begin descending further down than that. We're going to slow down our speeds here to about 210.
Frontier Flight 1835 cleared for the ILS approach to runway 34 left with the TEL retransition.
Cleared for the ILS approach to runway 34 left with the TEL retransition. Frontier Flight 1835.
Alright, so we're clear for the ILS approach. We're going to be continuing
at Denver International Contact Tower on 128.75. Have a good one.
We're still on our continuing on with our approach now. We're going to go to the final loop here.
3011 tower on 128.75 Frontier Flight 1835.
And we're pretty much going to be on our final turn now, on the final loop into the runway.
Tower Frontier Flight 1835 inbound for ILS approach runway 34 left.
Frontier Flight 1835, good evening. Radar contact. Continue ILS to runway 34 left, call when established on final.
Continue ILS to runway 34 left, will call when established on final. Frontier Flight 1835.
We're going to continue in on our approach here. We'll advise when called in established on final. So we'll advise them when we are on our final approach. We're going to get ready to go down to 10,000 feet. As it's once we get through to Teller, should be at flight level 110. But Alpha will be flight level 105. Flight level 150. We'll go ahead and get that ready to go. We're continuing on with our final turn here. As we come in for our descent to Denver. It's such a slow, gradual turn in, but as you can see, we're going to be lined perfectly up with the runway, which is what we want. It's going to be a very perfect approach in by the looks of it. I haven't felt that much wind at the moment, so it's quite steady, which is good. But the winds are going to be there when we come in for landing. Skies are clear, winds are still 232 at 11, visibility 10 miles. We're going to get ready and go down to 10,000 feet now. I'm going to go ahead and descend down to 10,000 feet. We'll go ahead and turn on our landing lights. I'm gonna go flaps 2. There is a lot of lag happening right now, purely because of the scenery trying to load in. It's quite a large scenery file, so there is a lot to load in right now. No, I think we're good here. We're going to continue on down. My god, this lag is bad. We're going to select our approach phase now. Turn on our approach. Lock onto our localizer. Cat 3 signal, which is good. We are locking onto our localizer, which is perfect. Going to descend down to 90,000. We're hooked up to a localizer, which is perfect. We're going to go ahead, once we get 7 nautical miles out from the runway, we'll go ahead and pull down our landing gear. We're looking good at the moment. We're going to go ahead and go flaps 3. We're going to call on final. Frontier Flight 1835 on final approach.
Frontier Flight 1835, winds are 232 at 11 knots, cleared to land runway 34 left.
Cleared to land runway 34 left, Frontier Flight 1835.
I'm going to keep on flaps 3 for the time being, but I'm going to go flaps 4 until we're about 2 nautical miles to the runway. Keep our headings here. I have the runway inside. I can visually see the runway there in front of us. Once we get a little bit closer, we'll go ahead and switch the camera on so you can see the full landing. We're coming into our final approach. We're at 90,000 feet, which is pretty much going to be locked onto our localizer here. 90,000 feet. We might even go down to 7,000 feet. We're going to descend a bit further down to 7,000. Descending down to 7,000 feet now. Get onto that localizer. We're still clear for ILS approach. We're going to go flaps full. Once we're about 7 nautical miles out, 5.5 nautical miles out, we'll go ahead and retract, deploy the landing gear. We've got our descent phase ready to go. Once we get closer, about 1,000 feet over, or 500 feet over, we'll cut the throttles down to idle, and we'll have a nice touchdown onto the ground here. Since now we do have reverse thrust option on the throttle quadrant, it's going to make our landing a lot easier for us, which is going to be very enjoyable. As you can see, there is a lot of winds as well. We're just going to be cautious of that. But we're pretty much now ready for our final approach here into Denver. See, we got one red, we got one white there showing up on the poppy, which is perfect. We should be getting into our glide slope here momentarily. When I configure the cabin for landing. Come on, let's press it again. We have locked onto the glide slope, so we're now in a nice glide slope descent. We're in the glide slope now, so we're going to go ahead and get ourselves ready for our arrival here. Go ahead and position ourselves ready for this landing. We've got 2 red, 2 white, which is perfect. We'll continue our final descent in 1,000 minimums. Once we get to about 500, we'll go ahead and take manual control of the aircraft. There is a lot of lag here, as this is a huge airport. It's requiring a lot of processing power just to be able to process all of this. So, so far it's looking pretty good. We're pretty much locked on. Aircraft's making some minor adjustments. We'll take control in just a moment. Obviously, with the wind that's being emitted at the moment, there is a lot of wind here. Once we get to 500, we'll disengage autopilot. And I've got control. There's only very minor corrections that have to be made here to the airport, to the aircraft, not airport, to the aircraft. So we're just going to continue on with our final approach. We're looking pretty good on the center line at the moment. Continue on. We're a little bit low. Lots of winds, that's alright. Get back on that center line here. 100. Going reverse thrust. Not bad at all.
Frontier Flight 1835, exit runway when able.
Reverse thrust are activated. We'll go idle reverse. And we'll go full lock. Down back to idle. Pretty good. We'll add a bit of power here off the runway. We'll take the next exit. Not a bad landing by any means. We'll take the next fast exit here. We can. Looks like we're going to have one here. We can take. Go ahead and exit the runway. Looks like it's going to be the next one up here. We'll take. Go ahead and retract flaps. You can disengage ground spoilers. We'll keep rolling, of course. We can't stop on the runway. Wing lights we can go and turn off. We'll go ahead and take this exit here. But yes, indeed, very nice landing. We made it to Denver International Airport. Had some issues at the start, but we got here. We're going to turn off our flight directors. Restraints can come off. Turn on our APU as well. Get the APU fired up here. Bird lights, we can go ahead and disengage. When we turn off lights, we can go ahead and turn off. We can turn off our landing lights here. And put the taxi lights on. Keep the beacon lights on for the time being. I don't think there's any runways that we have to cross at the moment, actually. Oh, yes, there is one that we're going to have to cross. Frontier Flight 1835, clear of active.
Frontier Flight 1835, contact ground on 119.47.
Return off all of our systems here.
Have a good
Turn
evening.
off our squawk code as
Ground
well.
on 119.47 Frontier Flight 1835.
Turn off our squawking. Turn off all our systems. Weather radars and all that can come off. Oh, let's get back on the path here. Frontier Flight 1835, cross taxi to gate Alpha 40. Take gate Alpha 40 since it's a Frontier terminal.
Frontier Flight 1835, taxi to gate Alpha 32 via taxiways Delta.
We're going to take 32 by the looks of it, which is
Whiskey
fine.
Bravo, Foxtrot, Bravo
Brake
Sierra,
vans, whoa,
Golf,
holy shit.
Alpha Sierra.
Bit of a dip there.
Taxi to
Brake
gate
vans
Alpha
are on.
32
We're going to go
via
ahead and clear
taxiways Delta,
this
Delta
runway.
5, Whiskey Bravo, Foxtrot, Bravo Sierra.
We'll go ahead and turn
Golf,
on
Alpha Sierra, Frontier
strobe
Flight
lights.
1835.
takeoff lights as well. Frontier Flight 1835 requests permission to taxi over runway.
Frontier Flight 1835, taxi to gate Alpha 32 via taxiways Whiskey Charlie, Foxtrot, Bravo Sierra, Golf, Alpha Sierra. Hold short runway 34 right.
We're gonna have to
Taxi to gate Alpha
get
32
permission
via
to
taxiways
taxi
Whiskey
over
Charlie,
the runway here.
Foxtrot, Bravo Sierra, Golf, Alpha Sierra. Hold short runway 34 right. Frontier Flight 1835.
Frontier Flight 1835 requests permission to cross runway.
Frontier Flight 1835, cleared to cross runway 8 at pilot discretion.
Alright, we're cleared to cross the runway at pilot discretion. We'll go ahead and cross the runway. Add a bit of power here. So yes, welcome to Denver. It is a nighttime. It's a bit nighttime here, so we have made it finally. Strobe lights we can go ahead and now turn off. When we turn off lights, we can go ahead and disengage. Landing lights we can go ahead and shut down once again, and landing noticeable lights back down the taxi as we're flying off the runway. We're flying off the taxi right here. We'll go ahead and make our turn here and get to the ramp. We'll go ahead and turn on some dome lights here just a little bit, just so that we can see what we're doing here. Everything else is shut down and is retracted, which is perfect. Everything else is pretty good. Nothing else we need to do. Turn off landing approach there. But nonetheless, welcome to Denver International Airport. It's very nice to be able to land here, and the throttle quadrant's been working pretty fine as well. I've had no issues with it at all. It's been fantastic to use. All in all, the full setup as well has been fantastic. I've absolutely enjoyed it, every single moment of it. So we'll get to the ramp here, get to the gate, and we'll shut our systems down, and that will do it for this episode of Flight Simulator. So we'll just continue on with our taxi. We're basically going all the way down to the very end, where the Frontier flights, where the Frontier Airlines are, which is all the way over here, but in the Alpha ramp. So we'll go ahead and make our way over there. I'm doing a high-speed taxi at the moment. It's a very touchy throttle quadrant, so just by pushing it up a little bit, you're getting quite a fast taxi. So you got to manage the speeds and flows a bit here as well. So you got to make those minor inputs just to basically taxi at a relatively decent speed without over taxiing. When I go over to the wheels, just to check how hot the wheels are at the moment, I'm sure they're going to be quite warm. Yeah, that's still well and truly in the still quite warm there. So we've still got the parking fan, we've still got the fans on at the moment just to cool it down. We're going to gate Alpha 32 to go ahead and take the next exit here. Go ahead and take this one. And get away to the ramp. But yeah, this scenery definitely has a lot of frames to it. Certainly eats the frames away. There's that much detail and attention to it all that purely on my system, you know, it kind of shut itself on some of the rival there. So it's just something that unfortunately happens. You just got to have to deal with it, unfortunately. All right, we're going to be making our final turn into where we're meant to be going here. Alright, our ramps are just going to be up here on our left. We're going to have to get onto the other side since, you know, it's the correct travel that we should be going on. Is always traveling on this side. That's the correct position, rather. Get ourselves back onto the center line. The ramps, our gate is just going to be off to the left there, so we're going to continue on. Slow ourselves down. Going to be onto our left here. At gate 32. I believe it's going to be the one that just after this one here. Well, that car is there. We're going to pull into this one here. I believe it's going to be this one right in front of us here. We'll go ahead and take this one. Looks pretty close to where we're meant to be going. If not, I think this is the spot. We'll go ahead and turn off our taxi lights. And we'll pull up here. We're in... throttle is in idle. We'll get a bit more power here. Line ourselves up. I believe we can go just a fraction a bit more. A bit of power to it. Alright, that's going to do us. They're going to apply our parking brake. Parking brake is going to be applied. Get back ourselves into the cockpit. Let's go ahead and change that around and hop ourselves back into the cockpit. We're going to go ahead and get ourselves some ground units here. Get ourselves the passenger door, forward door as well. Baggage handlers, we'll go ahead and request them. External power, get them as well as the after door and the catering truck as well. We'll go ahead and shut the engines down simply just by picking the switches down like that. It's going to shut our engines down for us. We're going to go over to external power. And that is going to, we're going to hit continue since we're not quite done yet. God damn it. And we're going to get our external power on. Turn off our beacon light. Have a logo lights we can go ahead and turn off. Shut off that one there too. We don't need that. Cruiser lights can come off as well. We're going to go ahead and turn off our ADARs as well. Turn them off. Fuel light, fuel pumps and all that can be switched off. Get that last one. And we are here. Turn off our safety signal signs. Turn off all the other bits and pieces that we don't need. Go on, turn off. There we go. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I really hope you guys had a good time. We'll definitely get back out here on the skies soon to another flight with the Airbus A320. I'm quite liking the Airbus A320. We may do some different planes. Comment down in the comment section below as to what you want to see me fly. But nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. We are going inverted. We are going inverted right now. Holy sh! What the f is happening? We are literally going inverted right now. I would love to know what the f is happening right now. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're jumping in here today, doing a flight from Denver International Airport. Last I checked, we're at Salt Lake City. Yeah, that's what it is. I need to file the flight plan. Later. We're jumping in here today, doing a flight from Denver in Salt Lake City. God damn it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're jumping in here today, doing a flight from Salt Lake City to Denver International Airport. I'm very excited to be able to get out here today and get back out in the skies. We'll be using the Airbus A320, and this is sounding like a shit introduction.